Greetings, I am Herbert Erpaderp, and it's time for another Ask a Herbert Erpaderp, now on Thursdays. I've decided to shift Ask a Herbert Erpaderp Day to Thursday because I feel like it would fit into my schedule a bit better and it would allow me to have a bit more time to grab some of the more interesting comments from Monday's modelling videos. So I guess that's a little announcement. Now, let's get to the question asking, and of course the answering. Gem Squee? I don't know if I'm saying that right, I'm probably not. They said, would Derptopia buy second-hand tanks from another nation, or would they invest in their own development and produce their own? If so, what features would a Derptopian tank have? I presume it would have a 152mm howitzer as its main armament. I like a variety of tanks, and so I think Derptopia would feel the same way. They would both order tanks from other nations and design their own in a few varieties. A 152mm derp gun isn't appropriate for all situations, just most of them, so there would have to be some smaller guns and maybe some bigger. Good strong armour and powerful engines would also be important for the crushing of all foes. Also, they would be painted pink to strike fear into the hearts of everybody. Max W said, "Hey Herbert, what are you thinking about painting next?" At the moment, it's a toss-up between painting the mouse or maybe that B-17 I built. I'm leaning more towards the mouse. I've also already got a handful of other things in progress, like the Warlord Firefly, Rubicon Jeep, and Malifaux Mobile Toolkit. Sneaky Zaku said, what do you think of the Team Yankee game in the theatre choice? Would you like to see more games set in a Cold War gone hot, or perhaps just modern/Cold War wargames in general? I'm not entirely sure I understand the question. I've not played Team Yankee or looked at the rulebook or anything like that, so I don't know much about the theatre choice. The game does look like it could be interesting to play, but I'm not especially interested in the more modern stuff. I really prefer a World War II setting. I just find the tanks and equipment of that era more interesting. Though I do think both the Leopard 1 and 2 look kind of cool, and I do like the later Russian tanks. Still, I find World War II stuff far more appealing. I think the games in general are a good thing, and it seems like something people want, so I'm all for that. I suppose if I were to play more Flames of War and Bolt Action, I might get a little bit tired of that setting and want to try something a bit different, but I'm not at that point and I doubt I will be. Max W is back and says, would you ever start doing modern vehicles? I think it would be cool if you built an Abrams or a Challenger. Maybe. Like I said in the previous answer, I'm not so interested in the modern vehicles. I feel like they just don't have the charm or character that older vehicles had. But never say never, it's always good to try different things. And I have been tempted to buy things like Leopards, which I guess aren't really all that modern, but they're more modern than World War II stuff. Of the two you listed, I think I would prefer to build the Challenger. It's not especially likely, but it could happen one day. Gentleman said, I don't know if this has already been asked, but do you have any pets? And there's a picture of a good kitty, which presumably belongs to Gentleman. I do. I have a bunch of mice, one of which appeared on my Warlord Mouse video on Monday. And I've got a fighting fish named General Martok, who I may or may not have inserted video of here. Top Bunk Productions said, what is your streaming schedule, assuming you still have one? I am aware you intend to stream Sundays, but are there any other days I might have missed that I can keep in mind for next time? I've found it really hard to set a firm schedule, though often either Saturday or Sunday at 2 PM local time is pretty easy to do, so I can be consistent there. I do have a schedule that you can look at. It's on my Twitch channel in the description area, and I do try to keep that up to date. It's pretty convenient, and I believe it converts the times that I enter into the local time of whoever is viewing it. It also counts down to the next scheduled stream. I'm not sure if I can post or embed that anywhere else, but it's there on my Twitch page if you're looking for it. Shouldn't be too hard to find. I streamed today, which is Wednesday at 11 AM, though that's not really relevant anymore, I guess. I've also got a stream scheduled for 3 PM on Thursday, which I guess only patrons that happen to watch this early will really know about, because this will be uploaded late on Thursday evening. And I've also got 2 PM Saturday and 2 PM Sunday scheduled, though one of the weekend streams might be cancelled depending on other plans I have. Then I re-evaluate that at the beginning of next week and update the schedule. Top Bunk Productions also said, what are your thoughts on scratch building terrain? I'm currently attempting to make Ruined City blocks out of cardboard from model and cereal boxes. I think scratch building terrain is awesome. Those are my thoughts. I don't really have any hints or tips or anything like that I can think of. If you're interested in making terrain and you don't already know about him, check out Mel the Terrain Tutor. He's got a lot of really interesting and helpful videos. Cardboard is a good material. It's really versatile, though it might not be the strongest thing in the world. I haven't built any terrain with it myself for quite a long while, but I would really like to see your terrain when you're ready to share it. Some dude said, how big do you think your community will be by the end of this year? Both YouTube and Discord server. That's a good question. It's kind of hard to make a guess. After all, it's still February. There's around 100 people on Discord, which is still relatively new, so that's some pretty good growth. On YouTube, I have around 5,600 subscribers, and that seems to be growing pretty quickly. I'm confident that YouTube will be well over 6,000 by the end of the year, maybe even 7,000. Discord, I have no idea. I'm not really worried about numbers, especially on Discord, because people on the Discord server are more likely to be active than YouTube subscribers are. I would rather have a small community of decent people than huge numbers with channels full of edgelords and assholes, so I don't really mind if there isn't a lot of growth there. The more important numbers to me are watch time, views, and view duration, though it does feel pretty good to see the subscriber numbers going up. Stop, collaborate, and listen! Max W is back with a brand new invention. He said, have you ever thought about getting a Conflict 47 kit? A similar question was asked on Facebook as well. I have considered getting some of the turrets for the Cromwell and Panzer IV, and maybe some of the Walker things. I've not given serious consideration to putting together an actual force for the game though. Maybe next time I place an order with Warlord I should consider getting some Conflict 47 stuff as well. It could be fun. In fact, I'm pretty sure it would be fun. IS2 said, your favourite meme? Mine is remove kebab. I don't know. I don't really follow memes. Is that a thing people even do? I guess it is. I know some people get very upset about old memes and incorrect meme usage. Personally, I think it's funny to use them incorrectly. I know there are some that I really enjoy that I'm just forgetting about. I'm rather fond of the really old one with the dog trying to drink from a sprinkler or something, where the caption was Wargarble. I guess there's different memes among different communities. There's a bunch of phrases and things that I've just picked up through Loading Ready Run if that counts as a meme, and I think it does. Things like referring to things or people as garbage toilets, telling people to get into the sea, and going rin-nin-nin-nin-nin anytime there's a motorbike or a car or a chainsaw. My best friend and I have our own variants on that too because we're sensible adults. IS2 then said, will you do a stash overview? I don't know. If by an overview you mean going through every kit that I have and talking about them all, that sounds like a lot of work and I really don't see a lot of value in it. Also, I'm pretty lazy. If it is a thing people really want, I'll consider it, but I'm not really into the idea, and I imagine it would lead to many comments telling me to build this kit or that kit, but usually I only give those kind of choices to my patrons. Sandwichman J said, can you make more PUBG videos? I've not played PUBG for quite a while. I got a bit burned out on it after playing it pretty much every day. Barnaby and I did have a quick look when that new map was released, but it didn't really grab us at the time. But I have been thinking I might like to check it out again. If I do, I will definitely record it, and hopefully, something at least moderately amusing will come of it. Stoigan Freugen said, could you do another 1/35th scale tank after the King Tiger? I would love seeing you build a Middle Eastern T-55. Tamir got some cheap plastic kits from the 70s and 80s. I will be doing something in that scale soon. It isn't a T-55, but it is a Russian tank. It would have actually been next Monday's video, but the build encountered some delays and so wasn't going to be ready in time. I actually think I would prefer to spend my money on newer kits. The Tamir Shah B1 BIS, which I think is relatively new, looked as though it's a very good model, and I'm planning to pick one up at some point soon. So I will be doing more 1/35th scale stuff, it's just not really a priority. Kraken110 said, I know you loves you some tanks, Herb, so have you looked into some other period historical games like Team Yankee, Force on Force, or Skirmish Sangan? Skirmish Sangan? However you say that, for some of that sweet modern armour. And I got a good lol from the Idiocracy reference. I was hoping somebody would get that reference. I think I've said it a couple of times today already, but I'm not all that interested in modern equipment, so I've not got the game at all. And I've never heard of either Force on Force or Skirmish Sanjin, or whatever you call it. Or if I had, I've forgotten about them. I don't really have a regular gaming group, or know of anybody that's interested in playing games like that, so I'm not really sure how much value I would get from trying to learn a new set of rules. I'm awful at remembering rules and pretty much everything else too, really, so I would probably just end up confusing myself when I went to play bolt action or whatever. I'm really much more of a modeler than a gamer anyway, so I'm pretty happy to stick with bolt action and Flames of War for my tank and shooty man games. I really do prefer the World War II setting. Gmiaspriada said, "Are you a religious person?" No, not in the least. I'm perfectly happy to let people believe in their invisible sky friends and all, even though I do think it's a bit silly. I know it's really helpful for some people to have that belief, but I don't think it belongs anywhere in government and decision making for the population at large. I feel like organised religion is responsible for a great many of the world's ills. Thoughts and prayers are worth very, very little. I think that adequately explains how I feel. Okay, so that's it for the questions this week. Let's go and have a look at this week's batch of models that have been shared on Discord. If you're not already on the Discord server, I would recommend you come join. Not only is there some excellent modelling work shared, but interesting and helpful discussions also occur. There's a link in the description. Let's see the pictures. Max W shared this MiG of some kind. A MiG-21? I think that's what it is. Here it has been given decals and a communist level of weathering. And then after some washes and dust effects, which have made it ultra commie. Top Bunk Productions shared a bunch of his stuff in this image. Warlord US paratroopers, an Armorfast Valentine, and some Plastic Soldier Company Stu 42s in the background. It's good to have a few projects going at once. And here's the now completed Armorfast Valentine. On the side you can see the scratch-built suspension bits. The kit apparently didn't come with all the details, so bonus points for creating your own details. Sneaky Zaku shared a Chaos Warrior. That's a nice shade of purple on his shield, and he looks quite stabby. Do you think if I say nice things to him he will let me go unstabbed? Cause I really don't want to be stabbed. Burner581 shared his Blood Angel Captain. From what I gather, this one is in progress. Gemsquee shared this Lazplaz Razorback conversion. I'm not really sure what Lazplaz is, but it's fun to say. Lazplaz. Jihad Teppo shared this plane with unhistorical camo and markings. Looks good. Plus you get the bonus of possibly making people who are anal about correct camo and markings get all butthurt. And in my opinion, that's a pretty good prize. Ratto shared these looted Opal Blitzers. All the weathering on these is done with cheap artist's oils. The truck on the left shows how it looks before any weathering and washes, except for the tyres. Artist's oils are quite good, and if you want to spend a little time with them, they can be really versatile. James Valentine managed to get Discord working and has shared some really good work. These models are in 15mm scale from Zvezda and Gale Force 9, which is Battlefront. I'm not exactly sure what these are for, though I'm pretty sure there's a heavy element of what if here, like the fictional Sturm Panther. I bet that gets someone's jimmies good and rustled. The purple colour on the Yag Tiger and Elephant, is it an elephant or a Ferdinand? Either way, that's a really nice purple. General Spade has shared this Finnish Stug that he recently finished. Haha, finished, get it, because it's Finnish? This is a 28mm bolt action model. The writing is Swedish rather than Finnish, though I never would have known that. He says this is because a lot of Swedes joined the Finnish army, and the good general wanted something to be Swedish. Gentleman finished building the Tamiya Jagd Panther. He says it was a very good kit for the price and needed very minimal cleanup. He plans to paint it in a Finnish What If 1947 scheme, and I look forward to seeing it. The big boy shared this little 1/72nd scale T-34. This looks rather nice. As someone else commented, it doesn't look like a 1/72nd scale tank. Very good work. And that's all the models for this week. Thank you very much to those who shared, and keep up the excellent work. I'm very much looking forward to what next week will bring. Speaking of thanks, I have a big thank you for our newest patron, Top Bunk Productions, who appears in Ask a Herbert Erpaderp quite regularly. Thank you very much for your patronage. I really appreciate it. If you want to be as rad as Top Bunk Productions, head on over to patreon.com and join up. That would be excellent. And of course, if you haven't done so already, feel free to subscribe to me here on YouTube, follow me on social media, and watch me live stream on Twitch. Links to all of those things are in the description below. I shall return soon, so until then, keep being awesome, happy modelling, and thanks for watching. Farewell.